Brooke, do you experience domestic violence in this house? Do you not get to talk very often, or? I was gonna laugh, but David looked at me.
Yeah,
never mind.
I would have thought you would have thought
they're not in the honeymoon phase right now.
No. Yeah,
I thought you were asking me
if she's abusing me, and the answer is yes.
Yes, I was wondering.
Yes.
David,
David, that tape doesn't go up there. It goes in your mouth.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So with that being said, let's start the podcast. So you guys, welcome to Daybreak After Dark. We're about to talk music. We're about to talk life. I'm joined by two guys that I'm honored to call friends. We got Trent and Brayden, or Trayden, as I like to call them, if I'm just combining their names together.
Brent.
Yeah. So it's like Brad and Angela. You guys just get your names combined together. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Very excited just to talk life, music, and a little bit of whatever we get into. So
Awesome.
What I like to do with each podcast, though, is start with a question that I feel like every record collector should have something prepared for. So we'll see how prepared you guys are. You ready? I can already sense you're getting a little nervous about this question.
Nipples are sweating again.
And the nipples will sweat during the podcast. That's okay. Oh my gosh, you're not joking. They literally are.
Don't look at my nipples, David.
Okay, so the question I have for you is, as a record collector, we get asked this question a lot. So we're going to infuse it into the podcast because I feel like it's a beautiful place to start. What was your first record you ever owned? So it had to be a record that you physically either bought or was given to you. What was that first record that you got?
We're talking vinyl record, right?
We're talking vinyl record.
The first one I bought. I'm trying to think and go back. Brayden, go ahead.
I'm gonna probably say that Simon and Garfunkel. The Japanese pressing was that first one when I bought on the show.
Which is cool. Was that the greatest hits or was it
greatest hits?
Okay, that's a good first record. And a Japanese one at that. So I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thinking I'm going back and possibly John Denver.
Okay.
I think was the first
like a
one
greatest hits too?
Yeah. Well, not the greatest hits. I can't remember which record it was now. It was either that or the Simon Garfunkel Japanese pressing I bought from you on Daybreak when I first came into Daybreak.
Could we just say that you guys both had Simon and Garfunkel as your first record?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And it's funny because probably bought it because it reminds you
of our dad.
And going on trips and stuff like
100%.
that.
So when it comes to music, we are influenced by a lot of people in our life. What's the order in your family? Like, who's the oldest? So you're the younger.
I'm the youngest.
Yeah.
So Brayden's the youngest. We have the oldest brother. His name's Brandon.
Okay.
And then Tiffany, that you
got,
know here.
And then we got the two good ones.
Yeah. And then you got me.
Yeah.
Trent. That's me. And then we got a brother named Chaz.
Okay.
A sister named Candace. And then Brayden.
Yep.
Okay. So youngest,
so
middle
6.
child.
Yep.
And I know Brooke has talked to you a lot about the middle child. That's something you guys have bonded over.
Absolutely.
Do you feel like that's a true thing? Like, let's talk live. And here's the thing with the podcast. This is honesty coming out.
Yeah.
Do you feel like as a middle child, you've had that affect you?
Yeah, I think so. I think there are some things, right? Because we all grew up playing baseball and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I always remember my parents not being at my baseball games. Yeah, I wasn't on the best team at the time. I also remember being left at practices till later.
They just forgot about you?
They kind of forgot about me. And I remember one night I had to walk to some random person's house and ask them if I could use their phone.
Just because they had forgotten about you?
Yeah, and had to call them. And they're like, oh, shoot, we totally forgot.
And Brayden's just at the house, like,
drinking
chocolate milk.
Right off the mama's teat.
And they're just like, oh my gosh, Brayden's so cute. It's almost like we don't have another son.
Yeah, exactly. There was times that would happen. I'm not to say, my parents obviously love me and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but
yeah, they definitely influenced.
It was easy to forget,
So as the youngest, and I feel like this is awesome because I was the oldest, you were middle, and you were the youngest.
Yeah.
So let's compare our experiences. So as the oldest child, you guys are probably like, oh, the oldest child has it easy. They get whatever they want, right? I feel like it's also the hardest being the oldest child because I had a lot of pressure on me. Like, I had two younger brothers, and I felt that weight of I needed to be the example. And maybe some older brothers don't do this, but I had to be the best because I wanted to set an example for my brothers. So they could never quite live up to it. But then I could be like, you tried though and you got close.
You tried and you're not me.
Yeah, you're not me, but you definitely got close.
Yeah.
So
that's our oldest brother.
Yeah,
right
that's our oldest brother.
Yep.
I told you, oldest children have it rough.
We can't even put peanut butter on a sandwich the right way.
Yeah,
he's like, what are you doing? That's not the right way.
I've showed you guys this 1,000 times.
You put it on both sides?
Yeah.
What?
Here I am, 43, and my brother's telling me I still suck at making PB and J's.
Trent's over in the corner, like showing it. He's doing it right, but nobody's paying attention.
It's an
I'm the middle child.
Yeah.
I'm in the corner.
even
I'm
make
like,
his
"But
own."
look, Dad
But
and
I
brother.
did it. No, they don't even know. Okay, so far I'm hearing middle child, pretty rough. Oldest child, roughest. Let's talk youngest right now, Brayden. How do you feel like that affected you?
I think I probably had the hardest because my parents just didn't care.
Yeah.
I'd say that jokingly.
Like they kind of got worn down by the time.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Between Trent and then me, I think it was like they would yell at me. I'd get in trouble. She'd take, like, my mom would take like my Xbox away from me, go throw everything in her van, and then she'd get mad at me. And then 2 hours later, she'd give me all my stuff back and then bring me chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk. Always a gallon of chocolate milk.
Always.
Because I love chocolate milk. So
Yeah.
she'd always be like, I'm sorry.
So that's
here's
why
your
you'll always hear that joke if you ever see me
There's some
put
chocolate milk.
chocolate
Yep.
milk.
And
So-
I'm assuming that is also contributed to your mass, like as a human.
Yeah,
Like,
it probably is.
The
right.
chocolate milk just gave
Yeah.
you a little more mass than maybe Trent got.
Yeah,
Being the middle
I
child.
think what it is, my mom met the mailman,
Yeah.
who was
He was-
possibly Polynesian,
yeah.
and that Brayden's here.
Yeah, and that's how it happened.
And I got no color, which
Yeah,
I
'cause
don't
you
know
have-
what happened.
you
He's
have
got,
tribal
he's got tree trunk legs.
Yeah.
So, and there's me with my chicken legs.
Yeah.
So, I get it.
Yeah.
Something weird's going on.
Yeah. I mean, God cursed me twice with the body and a middle child.
Just can't catch a
But
break.
it's- yeah.
But
I think the worst part, sorry,
no, go
about
ahead.
being the youngest is
Not to cut
every-
you off, youngest child.
Yeah. More attention on Brayden.
It's more.
Let's
It's
go.
about Brayden right now. That's fine. Well,
Where's that?
go
You
ahead
got
and
chocolate
talk.
milk up in your
Yeah,
fridge?
do you want to go grab like a drink
About to
while
feed him his
Brayden's
baba of
Yeah.
chocolate milk.
no. I see this more often as I look at a lot of TikToks and I see things, and being the youngest, you see everybody leave the
Yeah.
house, and then I'm like, well, now I'm all alone here in this house, and then I mean, I get treated still like the baby. But,
And do you feel like
that's the part that sucks.
have those things carried over as an adult? Like, do you get around your family and you kind of like flash into that? I'm a middle child. I'm an oldest child. I'm a youngest child. Or do you feel like that's changed now that you're?
I think it's
I think it's changed.
Yeah.
Now that I've gotten older. So,
we typically get together at least once a month as a family, siblings and everything. And
Yeah.
we have dinner, and I mean, we're all loud and annoying, and
I bet it's chaos, but
Yeah.
like a beautiful chaos.
it gets chaotic.
it
Yeah.
gets chaotic.
Like
and
they're
you just everybody leaves just like what just happened, but that was amazing. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're trying to overtalk each other the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. And so my wife and everybody else are probably in the corner covering their ears. My wife's got to do that a lot
yeah.
when she sits next to me.
She's just like, come on now.
Yeah, she protects her ears. So
I like that. That's
Yeah.
why I tuned your mic specifically for you, just so we captured
thank
that.
you. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
So obviously family had an influence on you guys growing up order. We talked a little bit about how music affected you. So the parents, like some of their musical tastes were passed down, it sounds like, with Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
Any other bands that like stood out that you remember growing up?
Oh yeah, the Beatles, a giant band.
Yeah.
My dad always listened to Jim Croce.
Harry
Who else?
Chafin.
Yeah. So
Do you know who Harry Chafin is?
I have no idea.
You would
There's-
love a Harry Chafin.
yeah.
I'm like 2 years younger than you guys. So I have no idea what you're talking about.
but yeah, it played a huge part.
I'm trying to think what else.
I-
Even some of my
I mean,
mom's
but they would
music
even play
I'll
yeah,
listen to.
Sade or Sade,
Yeah.
whatever,
Sade.
however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
What a voice. Talk
yeah.
about your nipples getting hard, am I right?
Totally.
Oh my gosh, that voice.
I'd have to tape them. I'd have to tape them down a lot when I knew I was getting in the band. with my mom.
More like
Yep.
shut down.
Shut down.
Who else did she listen to?
A
Enya.
lot of
Enya
Sting,
was a big one.
Enya.
I feel like that's a
So-
pretty like good range of music though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ours was like the canon of three: Beach Boys, John Denver, and Simon and Garfunkel. And my mom would throw some smooth jazz every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Like you gotta get smooth every once in a while.
You
But
gotta get smooth.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
my dad would throw in the Eagles, Chicago. We'd listen to all that stuff on road trips.
Yeah.
So
And it's funny now that how it like ties to a memory. And so
Yes.
we've talked about this before, but like the fact that music is so powerful, like it really is tied to memories for me especially, and I'm sure you guys maybe agree.
Yeah.
But for me, it was so powerful that dating before I met my beautiful wife, so anything that happened before that, like I barely remember. But I'm gonna
Yeah,
share
exactly.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
barely remember anything before that. But one of the things I remember is like I would love bands so much that I would want to share them with like the person I'm dating. And the first few, like I'm like, oh, you got to listen to this band. They're great. We would listen to it together. It would become our band, and it would be tied to these memories.
Mhm.
Like this person is then tied to that artist. We have memories of things we've done. And then, as inevitably would happen, weeks later, things would end tragically. And then that band would be ruined for me for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, I finally got to the point where I was like, I will not listen to certain bands until I find the love of my life. And guess what, Led Zeppelin? I kept you safe. So
I like that.
Yeah. So
that's
for me,
awesome.
do you find that music is like that powerful? Like, will a song take you to a memory or tie you to a person? Or
Absolutely.
is there any song or like, because we've talked about parents, but anything else, like, do you and your wife, like, do you have songs that you're like, oh, that's our song, and when I hear it, it's like,
So funny enough, when I was dating my wife, Fabulous was out. There was a song called "I'm So Into You,"
oh yeah,
and we are at her apartment. And I said, "Hey, play this song. Have you ever heard this song?"
yeah,
So she played it, and she's like, "Are you trying to tell me something?" And I was like, "Absolutely."
yeah.
So anytime I don't listen to it a lot now, but
Yeah.
anytime it comes on, I'm like, "Oh man, this takes me back."
Yeah.
So
It's like tied to that. And
Yeah.
it's weird how like
Yeah.
you have a physiological reaction. Like your heart will beat faster, hands will get sweaty.
Yep.
Like it's wild the power of music. Zeppelin 4 Stairway to Heaven just comes on, and we have a little joke that Zeppelin has what's called the makeout guarantee. Have you guys heard of this
Oh, yeah.
guarantee?
yes, I've got that
So-
sticker.
It's a powerful thing, and I just want to tell the people listening now how powerful this is. So I'm gonna put a challenge out to podcast land. Go listen to Led Zeppelin 4 and maybe watch it with somebody that you're hoping maybe shows you a little attention, a little love, a little
I bet.
some
Little
sexy
cuddle.
behavior. I don't know.
Just some whispering in the ear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try that.
Yeah. See, the thing is now
Film looking.
Now this kind of sounds a little sexy, right?
it does. So I'm
Yeah,
going
I
to
like
challenge
that.
you
I wanna
guys.
take the stairway
Go
down.
listen to Stairway to Heaven, and I guarantee you, with a 95% accuracy,
Yeah.
that person will start making out with you.
Yeah,
That's
be-
the David Paul guarantee.
There'll be your little stairway to heaven.
That's
How
right.
do you like that?
Brooke,
I like it.
Brooke, go ahead and cue up
Go
Stairway
ahead.
to Heaven
Let's,
for us.
let's get some Stairway to Heaven going right now.
I want to get some makeup.
Yeah. We got to be
Look at
careful,
the
though.
sandwich.
Here's what
What?
I'm telling you. Do not play that around somebody you don't want it to happen with. So one time my mailman, he was delivering a package, a little bit too much music coming out. It was okay. It's fine. We got through it, but now it's awkward.
Did he just pop buttons right there?
Boom, flannel off,
He just,
which
he
I
just
love that
leaves
he
your
was
mail
wearing.
at the curb now.
Yeah. So
He
it was,
broke his heart.
it was a beautiful thing. Now we
I got a
kind of
little
like,
more brown sugar on my belly.
speaking of songs now that have become tied to somebody.
Now you're always gonna think of the mailman.
Yeah.
Hello, David.
As he tickles his belly button.
So you guys have the challenge. Go out and listen to it.
Come
Play it
on,
around
Dragon.
somebody that you're hoping things get a little sexy, and see if I'm not right with that. So, power of music. What is even more powerful than listening to a song on a radio, attending a concert?
Love it.
So, are you guys big concert guys? Do you like going to?
Absolutely.
We do.
Big time.
How many? Let's quantify it, because this is a scientific show. We're not just throwing out random things based off of nothing.
I've been to
We
a
love it.
lot, and just trust me.
Yeah, I believe you. You have a
I saw the
trusting
Beatles.
face. You have a trusting
saw the
face.
Beatles.
Yeah.
Beatles live. It's
Beatles
amazing.
Live is great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Michael Jackson was incredible.
Well, it's
Oh
amazing.
my gosh! Have you guys heard Beethoven when he does? His,
Oh,
like,
were you there at that concert?
Yeah, I was
I think
there.
I was there. I was
It
in
was
the third
fit-
row to the left.
oh,
When he starts
See,
setting the keys.
that side had like the Black Plague was happening. So
Yeah,
I avoided that
I
side.
remember coughing a lot.
I'm glad you made it through that. Okay, but concerts are like, it's amplified, right? You get to
Absolutely,
attend this thing in person. There's an energy there that's just like incredible, and
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
sure you guys have felt that. What is a concert that stands out for you? Do you have one that you think back and you're like, for whatever reason, the energy was amazing. You had like an interaction, or the band was just on fire that night.
So one of my favorites, I mean, Lord Huron has been one of my favorites. We've been to him 2 years in a row now. We're going
Mhm.
again this year. But I think the one I liked the most was 311. A couple
Ooh.
years ago, they came to Sandy Amphitheater,
Okay,
and it was just a good time. My daughter was there. She was 12 at the time,
okay.
and she
First
loves
concert for
311.
her.
First
or-
concert.
Okay,
So, but that was probably one of my favorite
it
concerts.
stands
They
out.
still sounded amazing.
Some
Put on a great show.
bands sound very different. Like it could be
Yes.
40 years later. Some just still have it. Others, you're like,
Air
Might-
Supply.
is
Air
that?
Supply is an amazing. They're still amazing.
Yeah, still,
Live?
I thought you were
Yes.
going to say they
Live?
sucked.
No.
I was like,
And
hopefully
I
we
don't
don't,
listen to a lot of Air Supply, but
Yeah.
I went because we got in for free
Yeah.
to this concert, and it was amazing.
you don't have to be all correct on this. You can say a band that sucks too, and I'm going to start us off.
Okay.
Eve 6. Eve 6.
Oh,
if you're
no.
watching, I'm really sorry about this.
I
But- No, I love them too. But they
Put
came
my
up
hearts
to
in a
Utah
blender.
State and they performed a concert on
Okay.
campus for us,
Okay.
and everybody was just hyped. Like, it's Utah State. We don't get
Right.
cool bands like
right.
that. And so he comes out and like the show starts, and I think he had a little bit too much to smoke or something, or maybe something was going on because he was just like staring off into the distance and he forgot words and like
That's
it was
not
a terrible.
good.
It was the worst concert I've ever been to. I'm sorry.
Taking Back Sunday was terrible.
Taking Back Sunday.
That was a
Live.
bad one for you.
Bad.
His voice was not good. I was so disappointed.
Yeah. And I would say for me, I went and saw, sorry, Brooke, Modest Mouse
Oh no.
up at Red Butte, and it was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
He, same thing, probably smoked a little too much.
Yeah,
Drank
okay.
a little too much, and
Yeah.
he rambled on. Didn't sing. He talked
He's
for
just
over an
talking.
hour
He's
and just talked.
he was just floating on.
Yeah. And then he played a couple songs, and that was it. And I was like, that was absolutely a waste.
Yeah.
Because I was excited to see him. Because I like Modest Mouse.
Yeah, they're a great band, but
Not
maybe
a good
live.
concert.
Yeah. Maybe would you give them another shot, or was it that bad that you're just like, no?
I don't know. I'm sure other people have probably been in their concerts, and they've probably been amazing.
Yeah.
So I'd probably give it another shot just
Give it a go.
to see. Why not?
That's open-minded of you, and I appreciate
Yeah, I
that.
still like their
Yeah.
music. Yeah, I'm still accepting.
I love that.
Yeah. So
Let me give you a concert experience. I don't know if you guys have heard this story. So it was like right after high school. I was still living at home down in St. George. So like my family moved down there. They wanted to get warm or something. It's weird people
Yeah,
who do
weird,
that.
they were old.
Yeah, a little
Tiffany.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they decided to move down to St. George, and I lived with them for a little bit before college. So I was working at Best Buy, just, slinging cameras and doing my thing. But some of my friends decided that there was a concert coming into town because one of our friends had a connection with a band called Zebrahead. Have you ever heard of Zebrahead?
Zebrahead's great.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was one of those bands for me that just, I love their music. Like the energy was amazing. And so somehow this guy talked Zebrahead into coming and playing for us.
Really?
And it was this little church that like had like one of those stages and like a little basketball court in there, right? And they show up, they're setting up. We got there early because we're like, we got to get a good spot for Zebrahead. 12 people showed up to the concert.
No.
And you could just see in their faces, they were kind of like, what is going on right now? And this is what I'll say for Zebrahead, though. They you could almost see the physical change when they made this decision. They're like, screw this, we're rocking out tonight. They played one of the most incredible shows that I've ever been to. The energy was wild. Everybody was just going crazy, dancing around. And they were just, it was so much fun. And so then after the concert, I'm like, this night could not get any better. I was loving it. I was just like, I will never see a concert this good again. This night cannot get any better. They're getting ready to go. We're packing up and we're chatting with them because there's 12 of us. So they're chatting with us. And they look over at us, and it was me and a friend. And they look at us and they're like, would you guys want to go party in Vegas with us? And I was just like, the night just got better.
Yes.
Zebrahead wants to
Absolutely.
party with me in Vegas.
The Zebrahead.
And I was pumped, and I was like, going off to college soon. I'm like, this will make a great memory before college. And my stupid, stupid brain, you guys, instead of just saying, let's go, getting in the van or whatever and heading to Vegas, this is what I said to Zebrahead, and tell me what you guys, give me an honest reaction.
Okay.
So I'm like, yeah, man, oh my gosh. And then I look at him and I'm like, I'm just going to need to ask my mom first to make sure it's okay.
No.
Embarrassing.
Yeah.
Straight embarrassing.
Yeah. And the look on their faces, their faces just went from, I'm going to party with this guy. I was probably going to make out with two girls at the same time,
Yeah. Maybe 5.
maybe 5, knowing
knows?
Zebrahead.
Yes.
Yeah. They were probably going to shotgun Mountain Dews with me.
Oh.
Shout out to Mountain Dew
Absolutely.
and Dr. Pepper.
You may not be here today
Yeah.
if you would have done that.
And so then
Maybe.
they very sadly looked at me and said, I think we're going to pass.
And
And then they packed up and left. And I hear they had the most magical night.
Oh.
Tigers were involved, hotel rooms. Somebody fell asleep and was on a mattress on the top of a skyscraper. I don't know exactly what
Baby
happened.
showed up.
Almost,
Or was
almost
that?
sounds like the movie Hangover.
Okay,
Man,
that's
why?
maybe that's what I was
They,
thinking
they
of.
kidnapped a white tiger.
Not at the table,
So-
Carlos.
Yeah, that may have been what I was thinking of. But so speaking of concerts, though, we love them. We love going. Brayden, did you?
Yep.
I didn't get yours yet. Let me get
yeah.
yours first. Sorry about that.
There's a lot I think about. I think Post Malone. We just took my oldest daughter there for her first concert.
Okay.
Once they turn a certain age, we're now doing a thing where it's we take you and only you.
And they get to pick a concert they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he played one of his newer songs, and it's about his daughter. I don't know if you've ever heard it.
Mhm.
I don't remember what the name of it's called.
I believe it's My Daughter.
Is that what? No, it's not called that.
No, it's not.
I was like,
trying
I
to
was
be
so
super
involved. I was
cool.
like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
But that was probably one of the most emotional moments for me, just
Yeah.
as a dad.
To
And,
see
like-
her excitement and
And then just during that song, she's just hugging on my back, and we're just listening to it. My buddy actually, Fernando, captured a picture of it, and it was just really cool. Just a cool moment for me. I love that.
I feel like sharing those moments with people is like, it adds to the experience.
Yeah.
So like to go with somebody and to be like, man, we have that memory now together.
Yeah.
Especially like a first concert, like 311 or Post Malone. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of concerts though, we have kind of a fun announcement. So the Daybreak After Dark podcast, we needed to partner with somebody that just exemplified what we love. Like we didn't want to just partner with, Muscle Milk, the obvious choice, or like multivitamin, like Centrum Zinc.
Or chicken broth.
Yeah. Because as you're getting older, you need to stay like,
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. But we decided we found the perfect people to partner with, and they're amazing. So Live Nation, you guys have probably heard of them.
Absolutely.
They put on a ton of amazing concerts, especially here in Utah, all over the U.S. though. Any big concert you think of coming through, like name it, and they probably put that concert on.
Yeah.
But they heard about what we were doing, and they said, we want to be a part of what you guys do. Because part of our other thing that we do live auctions. You guys have attended, and they're kind of fun, right?
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah. Almost too much fun.
Yeah, I look forward to them every week.
Yeah. So what we do is every Wednesday night we do a live auction. We go live, auction records off, sell a bunch of things, and hang out, which is how we got to know each other, which is awesome. So Live Nation saw what we did with that, and we've done a lot of charity work. So we partner with Primary Children's. We raise money every year. Last year, I think we raised like $10,000 for charity. And because of that, they are partnering with us, and they want to do free ticket giveaways.
That's awesome.
So
cool.
I promised you guys an announcement, right?
I love it.
Yes. That's
So
awesome.
Live Nation is going to be giving away a pair of tickets to some of our listeners, 2 tickets to an upcoming concert that I am going to be attending regardless if they let me in for free.
Right.
It's Collective Soul,
Oh,
the band
great.
live,
Yep.
Okay.
throwing
Oh, yeah.
copper
Yes.
and like, and
Yes.
they are giving us 2 tickets, and it's not lawn tickets, you guys. That would
Really?
be the obvious thing, is
That
to
is
give
super-
lawn.
yeah,
You can
here you
shove
go.
Trent in the corner
Yeah,
with the
here
middle
you guys
child
go.
deluxe. They're not doing that. So they are actually going to give us 200 level tickets and
Wow.
possibly even
Wow.
VIP. He's working his
kidding.
magic.
That
So
is really cool.
so we're gonna announce how we're gonna give that away. So make sure you join our Facebook group, Daybreak Records. We're gonna have
Absolutely.
more announcements of how that giveaway is gonna happen.
Love it.
The show's not till July, so we have a little while. So a couple weeks from now, we'll do the giveaway in our group. So
I love it.
Oh man, I'm gonna be jealous whoever wins that.
Yeah.
I love Collective Soul.
they're
Actually,
so
a little
good.
disappointed you're not
So-
offering them
I
to
know.
us right now.
I know.
Yeah, that's weird.
And here's a bigger surprise.
And we have to
It's
wait.
you two.
It's you two.
Yeah.
We would have been like, oh my gosh.
It's incredible. Bono. So shout out to Live
Super
Nation.
cool.
You
Yes,
guys, they have
awesome.
so many good concerts coming up. This is kind of the start of their concert season. And so coming up, they're going to have a ton of great concerts. They're all over the place. So check out some concerts. So,
It's really
Absolutely.
okay. So concerts,
Awesome.
let's talk a little bit more about music though.
Yeah.
Love music.
So we love music. We love albums. For you guys, what is it about records that you love? Because you've been to concerts, you've listened to music, you sing in the shower, like you do all the normal
Constantly,
things.
yeah.
Constantly, yeah. But what is it about actually owning a record? Like what was the appeal for you to start collecting?
I think it's the nostalgia of it,
Yep.
of pulling a record out of a sleeve and putting it on and watching the turntable flip on.
So like the tangible, the act of it,
Yep.
the
The act of
ritual, if you will.
Yep. And then and even old records, like I love the old like Christmas records of like Mannheim Steamroller, and you hear the little as
Oh,
the
yeah.
music's going
It's
on.
not just crisp.
Yeah.
It's kind of got that little,
like almost like a
static.
fireplace
yeah.
crackling.
Even the
And
like
it's
lead
oh
in,
my gosh.
like the imperfection leading to perfection.
Yes.
Like you get that little static at first, and then the music hits, and you're just
Yeah.
Yep.
And you got to make sure, you always started at the beginning of that record to
Yeah.
kind of hear that
Yes.
as it's coming in.
Yep.
Because
So-
then you know, like, hey, I'm listening to an actual vinyl record.
exactly.
This is
One,
cool.
one of the things that I don't think people realize too is we're in an age of instant gratification. We do something and immediately we're like, we want to listen to this song. Oh, now I'm on to the next song. What vinyl records were intended was it was a listening experience.
Yes.
You started at the beginning. They designed it like with tracks in mind. They wanted it to lead into another track. You listen to the thing from start to finish.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful thing if you actually listen to an album front to back.
It really is. Because with like CDs, right, you would be like, okay, skip. I don't want to listen to that
Yeah,
song,
no,
right?
no, thank
It
you.
doesn't catch me the same way. But
Yeah.
then now you listen to that on a record and you're like, I really never listened to that song. It's actually a really good song.
Yeah.
So
You learn about songs that you're like, I didn't know
Yeah.
it was sandwiched in between track
Right?
3 and 5.
this is
It's-
now one of my favorite songs.
Exactly.
By this band. So
Have you ever had an artist or an album that surprised you to the point where you'd never heard of them? You listen to it and you're like, where have these guys been my whole life? Is there a band for you that has done that?
Hot Tuna.
Hot Tuna.
No, just kidding. I haven't played them yet. That's still on the queue.
It's queued up
I
right
haven't put
now.
it up yet.
Man, are we talking about like an older record or something that's been out for a bit and you just discovered it, or?
I'll start you off with one kind of to give you an example.
Okay.
So sometimes you go to a concert and that opening act. Have you ever like suddenly you hear a band, you're like, wait a second, they're pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, there was like 2 that stand out. Blue October.
Okay.
They opened for the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yep.
Which I just love the Goo Goo Dolls.
Mhm.
But this band before them, like, it was wild. Like they sounded so good, and I almost like was like, I could leave right now and be happy. And after that, I got their albums, which was fun because then it's the ritual, the thing we love.
Yeah.
But like that was a surprise to me. I'd heard of them before, but never like really dived deep into their discography.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I think it would have been, I didn't really know the band, and my wife kind of introduced them to me. Empire of the Sun. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
I haven't listened to a ton, but
We went to, it was a Twilight concert. It was a free concert at the time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, let's give it a go because I liked MGMT, right?
yeah.
And they're kind of like MGMT and all that. So we went there and amazing. Great band.
Kind of opened your eyes to like
Kind of
a
opened
new
my
artist.
eyes. Yeah.
Brayden, anything jumping out? Any?
One I sent you.
Because you
As-
switch. I just have to say this. I asked them both what their favorite bands were. Trent was very like, I got it. Easy. AFI.
AFI's
Right.
one of them. Yep.
Didn't even hesitate. Immediately. I see the 3 dots pop up for Brayden, and then it goes away. 3 more dots. And then he's like, the Mars Volta? And you could hear the like question mark at the end, even though there wasn't.
I panicked.
Yeah, he panicked.
Really panicked.
And then
A day
hours
later,
before the podcast, he's like, can I change my choice? And I was like, no, we have hours to go until the podcast.
just seeing how good
So
you were.
let's get it out to the viewers right now. Brayden, what is that band for you?
As tall as lions.
We're locking it in?
Locking it
I
in?
don't know.
As Regis
No,
Philbin
he did
once
tell-
said, final answer.
He did tell me on the way here. He's like, I got nervous and just said a name, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh no.
Yeah,
It
I like
could've
them.
been worse.
There was another band I had in mind, the Bahamas. You ever heard of
Okay.
them?
Been to the
super-
island, never listened to the band.
Super like chill.
If they're
music,
anything like the
super
island,
cool.
I would love them.
Yes.
You've heard of them.
I'd probably have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really good. It was between them or As Tall as Lions, and I heard As Tall as Lions on my mission.
Yeah.
With one of my companions, he pulled them up, and I was like, dude, these people are incredible to listen to.
So
and
that was one that kind of like
their
opened your
named
eyes to it.
album, their self-titled album, is my favorite.
It's interesting because I did a little bit of diving into like AFI. So AFI for me was definitely one of those bands that influenced me too. Like you had like the Used, AFI, like a lot of those bands from that era were very like, I remember when their songs came out. So AFI for me was interesting because they've gone through such a progression of
Yes.
music. So for you, is there like an album that like, did you like the early stuff, the later stuff?
So I started off with what is it? Sings of Sorrow.
Yeah.
I think is the name of the album. And that's how I knew AFI, right? And I would listen to that on repeat, day in, day out, in my car, everywhere I went.
So when you think AFI, that's the album that
That's
kind
the
of
album
stands
for
out.
me, right? And then a buddy of mine introduced me to some of their earlier stuff. Black Cells. Is it called Black Cells or something?
Yeah, is it like
It's-
Black Cells Sunset?
Yes,
Yeah.
Black Cell Sunset.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so he introduced that. He's like, well, here's like the AFI I know.
And
And
so
I was
for
like,
him, it was
oh,
a different band.
Yeah, yeah. So
Which I have to walk you through the progression. So I did a little research.
Okay.
Every album has like kind of progressed and they've grown or devolved depending on how you look at it as a band. So some people prefer the early stuff. Some people like the mid-range stuff. A few people like the later stuff too.
Yeah.
But here's the interesting thing. So I've charted the progression. Tell me what you think. So they started as a hardcore punk band. So that's what we kind of know from
Yeah.
the early albums. It evolved into horror punk is the official genre for what they moved into. From there, they moved to post-hardcore. So they're progressing, they're growing as a band. And it's wild the like differentiators between like the different genres. And then from there, they went emo, alternative rock, ending with a little gothic rock. So that's kind of
Yeah,
the progression of AFI through the
That's
years.
wild.
Which is one thing I love about music is they love putting it into categories. For me, the metal bands are always the funniest. Like there's like 1,000 sub-genres of metal.
Yeah.
And like there's very different ways to dance to each. There's different ways that you like interact with a band depending. So AFI was one of those bands for me that was interesting because they did progress and they kind of adjusted their style over the years. And I feel like it worked though, from like start to finish.
For them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it definitely works for him.
Some artists, they start strong and then you're just like, oh, like you should have just stuck with that.
Yeah, Dave, I think Dave knew what he was doing with all his different. So
exactly. So I liked your choice, AFI. That was one that kind of resonated with me too. Here's a pop quiz though. I'm going to put you on the spot.
I just listen to music.
No, Trent, this is going to be fun.
Why are you asking me all these hard questions?
So
Brayden's right here.
When AFI first came out, the name AFI, it initially didn't stand for anything. They just thought it would be cool to call themselves AFI. But over the years, they found, I need to come up with what this means because everybody kept asking, like, what's AFI? Trent, do you know what AFI stands for?
Oh my goodness. You know, I once knew.
I didn't know. Here's the thing. I didn't know this either. So if you don't know.
See, and you're going to say it and I'm going to be like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Yeah, I should have known that. No.
Okay, so this surprised me, and this is what's fun because I didn't know this either. I just always thought, oh, it's just AFI. Like, so it stands for a fire inside.
Okay.
So that's what
I've heard that.
Yeah, you've heard that.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Yeah.
So, Brayden, let's talk about your band, though.
Okay.
So, the Mars Volta was your initial choice.
Yeah, I'm going to change it again, too.
We're going to go for
I'm
a
about
third
to go to
chance.
someone.
So we're entering uncharted territory where research has not been done.
But you'll know.
You can't set restrictions on us.
Yeah,
So
okay.
I'll say,
what's your third?
Now, probably Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin.
Oh, my. Yes.
Two bands.
I will say just because
classic youngest child.
Oh,
We
my
say
gosh,
pick
seriously.
one, and he wants to have two.
You just shut your mouth. You're talking to me, okay?
Okay,
Listen
so Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin.
Yes, and the
Okay.
reason I say those two is because I've had some really cool experiences with friends
Okay.
when I was younger.
I don't know where this is going, but let's
We'll probably leave it there.
okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to leave it.
So
Yeah.
just
Good
just
You
building
don't know if
experiences.
mom's going to get a hold of this podcast.
Yeah. Okay, what if we promised you your mom's not going to find out about this podcast?
oh yeah, she don't text her. Put your phone away.
She's
She
She
mother-
doesn't even talk to you. She's like,
She'll
who's
get this message.
new
back.
phone? Who this?
Yeah.
Who's Trent Colton?
Okay, so there's a mysterious things that happen with friends. We'll
Yeah.
let you guys use your imagination. But that kind of influenced your love of Zeppelin and Pink Floyd.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. And listening to No Quarter, that's probably my favorite song by Led Zeppelin.
Ooh.
So
Which is not like in the classical canon of Zeppelin.
no, and it's not. And just when I hear that music, it takes me back to those moments of being like, man, these are my buddies.
Yeah.
You know,
remember
and
that.
I'm still friends with them to this day and hang out with them all the time. So
Which once again, like the power of music, that when you
Yeah.
hear that thing, it takes you to those friends. And
Yeah.
I love that. So we'll allow it. I'm actually
All right,
going to
thank you.
officially allow that switch. Because for me, Pink Floyd and Zeppelin, like those for me, like embody what record collecting is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people you talk about, they think of Dark Side of the Moon. They do think of like Led Zeppelin 4, or some of
Right.
those iconic like classic rock albums. And that's been the funnest part of like, as I own a record store, which is wild to even say that I own a record store. Shout out to Sandy, Utah. Come see us. We got great stuff for it.
Daybreak Records. Still great.
So great. And I'll be there. So you know it's going to be high quality customer service
Absolutely.
with a smile.
Absolutely.
So, but
Did you just smile at the camera
I
like
did.
I missed it.
yeah, you got to give the people what they want. They want
your smile.
my smile.
Absolutely.
But Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, like it's so fun to see people come in and explore for the first time. Like you'll have kids come in that don't even know what a record is. I love going to our jukebox, and it's my favorite thing to do every day. So a kid will come in and be like, "Mom, what's this?" And even the parents sometimes are like, "Whoa, I haven't seen this in years."
Yeah.
And then I'll run over there with a quarter. I'm losing money by doing this all day long. I give them a quarter and I'm like, try this out. It's so much fun. So I teach them about the jukebox and how records work. They put the quarter in, get to pick a song, and we make just like a big deal about it. And to see like the wonder of like the needle dropping on the groove. And they, without fail, are like, but how does this work? Like they don't understand like how a needle touching a piece of plastic
Right.
vinyl is causing that music.
Right.
And
Yep.
it's so fun to see that first time for people of like exploring like, what is this medium that I haven't heard of and why aren't people still using it?
Yeah.
So
I remember you did it for my daughters when I came in, and it took them
I mean,
forever
I
to
don't
pick a
do it
song.
for
They're
everybody
like,
who comes
"Oh,
into the
God."
store. Did I say that? I mean, it's just select people
It's
with
just-
adorable children.
I brought my own quarters.
Just so
I
you
did
know.
not provide quarters for.
Does it take the Chuck E. Cheese coins by chance?
It,
No.
it does. Actually,
No.
it probably would, to be
I'm
honest.
going-
Don't tell people that
I'm gonna
because then
try.
I'm.
You heard that first here, guys.
But what were their thoughts as they saw the like?
Oh, they loved it. And I just remember watching them, and they're like, "Okay, which one do we pick?" And they were ready to pick one. They're like, "But wait, let's pick another one just in case." Just watching them click, it's fun.
Yeah.
Watching kids experience this stuff, and that's
Yeah.
I think one thing we're trying to do is bring our kids into it. So I'll buy vinyl for them.
Which
Yep.
did we
Trent
plan
does the
this
same.
transition? Did we just plan this transition?
I don't know, what did we do?
Your kids with music, like how have they taken to like collecting and seeing you buy records? Like do you let them put records on? Are they to that stage?
Yeah, so it's only my daughter. So I've got two older boys too, 19 and 18. They're not, I mean, they'll listen to the records if I put them on, or they'll
Yeah.
come up and use mine. But my daughter's like, oh, I want my own record player. So the first record player I bought was a Victrola one, right?
Okay.
It's just the all
Like the
foreign
suitcase
one or
player that
whatever.
we
yeah,
call
it's like
them,
a
yeah.
foreign one. So when I bought my new one, I gave that to her. So for Christmas, she wanted a record stand that would
That's
hold
cool.
records and her thing. And now she's, takes my records and they're in her room, and I've bought her several different ones, and she's loving it.
Do you find that records disappear from your collection? So
Absolutely.
it's a bit of a problem. So Brooke and I, we both love music. We both love records. We both have really great taste. Maybe Brooke has a little bit better taste in music than I do. Just barely a little bit, if she asks.
Yeah.
But what I find happens is records will disappear from my shelf, and she has a little sticker with a B on it to indicate her records.
Uh-huh.
And without fail, I discovered them in her shelf eventually.
Do they end up with a B on
a
it?
B.
They
That's
have
what
a
I was
B
going to
on
say,
it.
with a little sticky note with a B.
I've had this
That's
my
how-
whole time.
Yeah, and she says it has a B on it. It's clearly mine.
Yeah, I had this before I met you, David.
Yeah, and how do I refute that?
You can.
Yeah.
Can
There's no
put
way.
cameras, that
Yeah.
camera up there.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you need
Yeah.
cameras around here, David.
I know, I do. But one thing I have to give Brooke a little shout out for, and this is one of those like touching moments. So we like being silly, we like being fun. But this for me was a moment like when we were dating, we went to Japan and we were shopping for records for like a week straight. We'll save that for another podcast, but an amazing experience. One day we'd hit our 5th record store of the day, and I was getting a little cranky. I hadn't had my food. I was getting a little hangry. I was tired. My feet hurt. All those things
Yeah.
that are normal for a guy to experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we were
Cramps.
going through this really cool store, and they had like some awesome like 80s and 90s, and Brooke was just diving in. It was kind of fun to watch. She would just like dive into a pile and be flipping through, and like she'd be like holding one up, like excited. And I was just so tired. And we'd made it through half of the store, and I was like, Brooke, we need to just head home. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, let's just go back to the hotel. And she like looked up from the pile she was looking through, and she's just like, nope, we're not going home until we go through every record in this store. And then she went back to digging through the records.
Oh my goodness.
And at first I was like, wait, what? But then my heart melted, and I was like, this is the girl. Like, she can outshop me for records. She's
That's
the one.
amazing. That's amazing.
So,
Absolutely. Can I ask you this question real quick though?
Yeah, turn it
So
on
when
me.
you were finally done at that record shop, you were tired, you guys are headed back to the hotel. I'm assuming you were probably in the back seat, right? Did you pretend you were sleeping the whole time so Brooke would carry you into the hotel room
I
and
should
put you to bed?
Here's the thing you may not
You
realize.
didn't do
She is
that.
stronger than I am.
Yeah.
The camera
That's what I'm saying.
adds 15 pounds of muscle, I believe is what they say.
Yeah.
This is all just glam muscle.
No, it's not. If you guys were sitting here right next to him.
That's
So here's the thing I learned.
fantastic.
Girls really don't care about a lot of the like lats, triceps, all that garbage. They want biceps, they want pecs, and they want glutes. I got 2 of the 3.
Ooh.
Okay, I
Stand
won't
up.
say.
Stand
I
up.
don't-
Let me
I
take
did
a
I won't
notice.
tell you
Take
which
a
one
twirl.
is missing.
Following you behind
But-
the stairs coming down
Yeah.
here. I did notice.
I work my glam muscles because I'm not going to do more than I have to. Okay.
Sure.
So anyway, we
Okay,
digress.
I know about that. Okay.
But yeah, so that was kind of a fun story of like when like music has such power, but those moments are like fun things that stand out. Your
Yeah.
kids collecting, that's kind of fun to get to experience that with them.
So how do you get? Because our spouses don't understand,
Okay.
and we try to explain it to them
Ooh, I
of
like
how
this.
it's so cool.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, mine particularly is like, I've got my Alexa. I can just ask her. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
sounds
we
sounds
get
the
it.
same.
It does
doesn't.
not sound the same.
It's
First
just
of all, if you're listening, what's your
Yeah.
wife's name again?
Robin.
Haley and Robin.
Robin and Haley.
Listen, Haley. Okay. Haley, let me tell you something real quick. I hope that's okay to do right now.
You go ahead and listen up to David.
Haley, come on now. Records are a lot of fun. You just have to know it. No, but that's an interesting thing because we hear about that all the time with people who buy. Is sometimes you get a spouse who can outshop you, who has great taste in music, and it's just kind of a fun to explore music together.
Yeah.
Like, how do you get a spouse that maybe doesn't understand collecting? I mean, she likes music though.
She likes music.
So that's like
Yeah.
right off the bat, that's like
Yeah.
90% of it. But what is it about records that you feel like is holding her back? Is it?
Probably the price of
The
them.
price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that could be.
If you look at my
Number one.
stand now, where I started and where
Yeah.
I'm at now, she's like, "How much money have you spent?"
Mhm.
And I pretty
Yeah.
much buy all my records from you, or if I find something cool at the DI.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, probably like $200 maybe."
Yeah, I mean, if that, right?
I cut it
So-
way back.
So here's the thing that I found that helps a lot of people. You got to flip your mindset. You got to change the way you think. Like Tony Robbins would say, you need to walk across coals and rethink how you're going about this. Records are like your 401k. Okay?
Right.
These things are an investment. They're going up in value. Someday, when she wants to go to Jamaica to Sandals, all inclusive, shout out to Sandals. We could use a free vacation.
They can collaborate with you and give
Yeah.
you a free cruise.
We would like oceanfront room, a massage package would be nice. Just saying. But here's the thing: someday those records could be converted
Definitely.
into that, and at the very least, that's kind of a fun thing for me. Is like, what if I was selling cat figurines? Like, what if I had a thriving cat figurine business,
That would
and
be
people are
amazing.
like, "Tell me how I can pitch this to my spouse." I'm like, "You can't. You either get it or you don't." Shout out to cat figurines.
Yes,
Like,
you
if you
know.
guys also collect cat figurines, hit me up in the comments down below.
Meow.
Meow. What's your favorite cat figurine? Go ahead and hit me up down below. Let me know.
Those hairless cats.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
hairless
the
ones.
hairless cats are absolutely the best.
They're definitely smooth.
Oh my gosh, the smoothest. Yes, your wife and
Yeah.
So do you feel like you've had these talks though?
Oh yeah.
Like you've been like, here's why I love them. Here's why I'm passionate.
Yeah.
Like, have you made yourself a little bit vulnerable? Because sometimes that's hard to do.
Yeah, she just walks away. She shuts me down immediately.
She's like, quit crying.
Yeah, why are you getting vulnerable?
Why aren't you
Ick.
making dinner right now, Brayden?
Put your apron back on and get back in. Okay,
Okay,
don't
fine.
worry.
I'll make me a sandwich.
I'll take my pants back off. I tried to put them on. That didn't work.
My
Yeah.
bad. I'll put these right back in your purse.
Yeah. But that's
What was I
true.
doing?
There are, and I feel like how much room they take up, like
Yeah.
that, the expense, the like room it takes up. But there's something really fun though when you can like give somebody a glimpse into that, right?
Yeah.
Of like, this is why I love this album. Like, it reminds me of my dad, and when I hear it, and then there's that little moment too where it then adds this like nostalgic value to it. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of those
Absolutely.
things that you have to like. There are going to be some things, some obstacles,
Yeah.
but you just got to explain why you love it, and
Yeah.
somebody who loves music will get that eventually.
Yeah. And if we can't eat for a week,
Yeah.
we at least have
That's
something to listen
fine.
to.
Yeah.
There you go.
And as you
He's
can
got
see,
music.
I'm eating well.
Yeah.
So business is booming. What about you, Trent? For you,
My wife kind of the same way, right? At first, it sounds just like us playing it through a Bluetooth speaker,
yeah.
right?
So it's like, why? What's the difference?
Yeah, what's the difference? And you're spending this much on records, things like that. But you know what? My wife has surprised me. She likes to put the records on. She's bought me some for Father's Day and things
Okay.
like that. Records she knows I like.
Yeah.
And then surprises me with 2 new records.
Yeah.
So
So
I think she secretly likes it.
She secretly does.
Yeah, she just wants to complain about the money I'm spending, right?
Yeah.
But then secretly she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad he's doing
I'm
it.
so glad he
I'm
has
so
this
glad I
hobby.
married this guy that's
Yeah.
spending all our money
Yeah.
on these records for me to enjoy, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna pretend I don't."
Because someday
That's
you're going to take her to beautiful Jamaica to Sandals, an all-inclusive resort.
with the
Featuring the
massage.
finest of foods, 8 restaurants, 4 mini bars.
All your cat figurines
Yeah.
you can
Hope
take.
you're listening, Robin.
Once again, shout
Love
out
you.
to Sandals Resorts. But yeah, so, and I think the thing is you got to find common interest with music. If you just love that, Simon and Garfunkel, but she's like, oh, I don't get it. Like,
Yeah.
if you find that album that they love too, and I think that's for me and Brooke, the thing that's been kind of fun is she has this album she loves and she wants to play it for me.
Mhm.
We love like playing games at night, putting a record on, and it's just fun to get to like share this. This is an album that I love. I want you to experience it with me. And I
That's
feel like
awesome.
that's the moment when you can find albums you both love. like that's really like it changes a little bit for
That's
it.
really
too.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, try that.
So
Yeah.
maybe find her. What's her favorite artist?
That's a great
I'm gonna-
question.
There we go. Step one: find out what her favorite artist.
Every time I
Shout
try to
out to
become
Haley and whatever her
vulnerable,
favorite
she
artist
shoots me
is.
down.
Get that doghouse ready.
Braden's coming home to you tonight. But yeah, so first step: find out what her favorite band or album is.
Little bit of kibble.
He doesn't need a lot, but just a little bit would be nice.
Just maybe a cup.
And it is
little bit of
winter.
water.
Make sure there's a blanket in that doghouse.
Soak it in water so it's nice on his teeth.
Chew it,
He
please.
has chewing problems.
I love that. As you get older, those are real problems. So, but let's talk this. When you guys came on, I had a question though that I needed to ask. This is very important.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a little bit of a diversion here. So say there was an off ramp coming up and I see lights behind me. I say, screw it. I'm taking off. Right.
Do it.
Little do I know there's 2 police officers behind me chasing me. The question for you with that lovely buildup, what's your chase song? Can you guys listen to music?
Absolutely.
yeah.
So,
Always.
in case we don't know, so Trent and Brayden, police officers, done a little time in a vehicle, I'm guessing,
Yes.
Little
at
time.
some point in the
Little
career. Do you guys, and I always imagine this, like, are you playing Bad Boys? Do you have Metallica blasting as you're chasing down the perps? Give me the inside scoop on what.
Didn't. I played a lot of Snoop Dogg and
Okay.
West Side Connection
Ooh,
were my go-tos.
I like that.
Absolutely.
I think it depends on the night too. Whatever, what mood you're in. Are you in the mood to go out and find bad people,
Yeah.
right? Or are you just kind of like, I'll go to calls when they come in,
Yeah.
and just kind of cruise the streets and see what's going on. So sometimes you have to be careful what you're listening to because you'll get in a chase and it'll pop up on your camera,
Oh,
and
that's
that's all
true.
you'll hear, and you'll go watch that in court, and you'll be like, "Oh,
Bad
here
boys,
comes the
what
F
you
word.
want?
Here comes another F word."
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I think it just depends on the night
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah. For me, I was lucky when I was in patrol. We didn't have cameras. I didn't have a body camera. I didn't have a vehicle camera. So I got away with
You got a
whatever
jam-
I wanted to.
What a girl wants.
Yeah, exactly.
What a girl needs.
Brittany's, oops, I did it again.
Which now there's no evidence of. We love that.
There's no evidence, so yes, I got away with it.
I think there's times where we'll like arrest people, and I'm sure Trent's probably the same way. Is we'll ask them, "Hey, what do you want to listen to?" Well, I'm taking you to jail because this is gonna be
Really?
your last time for a little bit. What do you want to listen to?
Yeah.
And depends on how they've treated us.
Yeah.
I've had people, they'll tell me and I'll play it for them. I'm like, gosh, this music is garbage.
Yeah.
But I'll let them listen to it.
Yeah.
And there's other people, if they are just mean to us and
Yeah.
we're like, for no reason,
Yeah,
I'll be
they're
like, what do you want to
urinating.
listen to? And they'll be like, oh, yeah. And I'll be like,
Yeah.
church music.
Guess what? You
You're
urinated
getting
in the
the
backseat of my patrol car. You're getting this.
You
Yeah.
need more
Which-
Jesus in your life.
Which I have to say, that is actually kind of fascinating. I don't think I've ever thought that, like, and I think that's kind of cool that you did that. Like, somebody obviously has committed something or done something that's life altering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's now this moment of reckoning. And even in this moment, music plays a part, right?
Yeah.
It's maybe a little temporary reprieve of like, you're going to face the music,
Oh,
so
yeah.
to
I
speak.
get
Right.
that.
Right, I like that.
But before you we process you, here you go. Let's jam out and sing together.
Yeah, they're having a bad day. They made
Yeah.
a bad decision at that moment in time, and why not treat them with a little music
And I love
that
that.
they
That,
like?
Could
That
that
is
be a sticker?
that might be.
Taste the music
Ooh,
Ooh,
taste the music.
taste the music.
And it could be like
at Daybreak.
a patrol car with like people jamming out, like
Yeah.
perp
Yeah.
leaning out the window, just like.
I like
So-
that.
Cruise with Daybreak.
So I
Taste the
think we
music.
need to do this. You guys know that we do stickers every month.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like we should do something fun with, and I think you had an idea about this too.
Yeah.
Should we do a special limited edition sticker in honor of you guys coming out tonight?
I would love
That
that.
would be really cool.
Okay.
I'd feel
So what
honored.
we're going to do is people listening to the podcast, we're going to have you guys help us design the perfect sticker. So you've listened to some of our shenanigans about stories. What do you want? Put them in the comments down below. What do you think would make for a great sticker? No idea is a bad idea,
No.
but there are some ideas that are better than others.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But
I like
and-
that.
so that'll be great. So we'll do a limited edition sticker. I say we don't even charge for it because that feels wrong. How about we design it? This is on us since we're launching this podcast. We'll do a free sticker. Anybody who like buys something from the auction, comes into the shop, they can get a Brayden and Trent sticker. How's that sound?
Yeah,
That's really
hopefully-
cool. That's
Hopefully they
awesome.
would like one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they would, based off of.
Maybe like,
Yeah.
Trent Brayden.
Yeah,
no.
maybe not.
Maybe we'll send a little sticker badge with
Ooh.
it. We'll bring you a bunch of those.
That would
and then
be
you
cool.
can throw it in there with it.
Let's do it. I love that.
Don't go impersonating police officers, though.
Don't
No.
do it. This badge
That
is
little
not
sticker
to
badge.
be used.
You're not like us. You gotta be like us, okay?
Don't do it.
You're
But-
It's not worth it.
You're better.
But
Better than
I
us.
do want to say this though is I appreciate you guys and what you do too. My uncle and cousin, police officers, they're in West Valley SWAT. My uncle's retired now. He was an undercover cop for the longest time,
That's awesome.
and like hearing stories about what he went through to like keep people safe.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a side to that I just really want to say thank you for
Thank you.
what you guys do
Thank you.
and
Yeah, I appreciate
having family members who go through that. My uncle is an undercover cop. It was so funny because he was also a bishop. So he was like our local church leader.
that. Okay.
And he went undercover, grew out his beard, started driving a Corvette. And like everybody was so like confused of what was happening. This was after the church calling.
Yeah.
But then like he just looked like he went downhill quick. Like he was like just looking haggard, not like showering.
He's playing the part.
He was.
Yeah.
I can say that now because he's out now. But at the time, I love that story just because everybody was so like he didn't tell people either, and we're just
Oh,
like,
really?
what's
Yeah.
happening with Uncle Rich right now? He's like really
wrong?
let himself go with that. So, but yeah, just want to give you guys a special
Very
thanks.
cool.
What you guys do,
Thank you.
appreciate you, and
That's really cool.
but one thing I think to end the podcast is we've been all over the place. We've
Yeah,
talked about so
have.
many things from hairless cat figurines to sandals, all inclusive
Really
resorts.
weird. This got weird.
Yeah. But one of the things that I feel like I want to like tie in at the end is over the years we change, our musical tastes change, who we are as a person, our friends, our family. There's so many factors in life that change. We grow hopefully and learn from our mistakes. In life, what would you do if you could go back in time and talk to your 18-year-old self? If you could give yourself some advice, knowing what you know now, this is kind of that, like, I want to dig deep on this one. Like, what would you go back and tell yourself from having learned what you have in life?
That's a hard question.
And if you want, I'll go first. That way
Sure.
you guys can think.
All
'Cause I don't want to put you on a spot for something I wouldn't do.
Yeah, what would you do?
So, looking back, I mean, I've changed so much. If you guys saw, like, 18-year-old me, you'd just be like, okay. He was, like, at lunch reading War and Peace in the parking lot. And, like, I wasn't always the charming, outgoing fellow that you
Oh,
see in front of you
jeez.
right now.
I don't believe it.
Yeah.
But one thing I would go back and tell myself is I feel like looking back, I was afraid to fail. I did things and didn't do things based off of if I was scared that I wasn't going to succeed. And I only did things that I was like sure that I was like, okay, I can do this. And I feel like looking back, relationships had stopped me. If I didn't think I could get the girl, I wasn't going to ask her out. If I didn't think I could make the football team, I wasn't trying out. And looking back, how sad that was to me that there were so many of these moments that I may have missed out on. Like, there were still good things. I don't mean to, like, downplay it, but that's one thing I would go back and tell myself is, like, don't be afraid to try things. And don't be afraid to fail because that's part of life.
Yeah.
And now looking back, some of the most memorable things in life are those moments where I didn't succeed.
Yeah.
But I tried and I learned and I grew and became a better person from it.
I like that.
I think for me, when I look back at life and where I am now as a person, I'd probably tell myself, be who you are, not what others want you to be. And I mean, growing up in Utah, that's kind of what you're taught.
There's an
is
image that
there's
you
an
need
image
to-
you've got to uphold. And,
Yeah.
you know, I've had older brothers and older sisters, and I've just kind of learned from them and watching them and just knowing I can be who I want to be, and people are still going to love me for that,
Yeah.
especially family, right? 'Cause we love our family and things like that. But that's what I tell myself: be who you are.
Yeah.
You're going to be.
And that's,
So,
yeah, I feel like that's beautiful. Like it ties in with this, like, don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to be you because like, that's who you are. And you should
Yeah.
like cultivate that.
so
Yeah.
when you hear us comment crazy perverted things on this, like this is who we are with
Yeah.
everybody. And
Shout out to Haley
Thank-
for loving me for who I am and putting up with all my shenanigans.
And-
And I would love to just go to Sandals in Jamaica
Oh my
if
gosh,
we
wouldn't
could
that be
make that
nice?
happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What if
Right.
they sent us 3 vacation packages?
that'll be fantastic.
Oh my gosh! And then we could all have like, oh, what about a swim out room?
I'd love that.
Have you guys ever had a swim out room
Yes.
before? That's life changing.
Incredible.
In
You
Mexico.
just like go out, just like float out into this like.
Have you ever had one where they put like hairless kittens in your
On little
Don't
on your
tease me.
pillows? Yeah,
Oh, mine
Which
mine was on
island
a
is
float.
and they hold little drinks for you.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh!
and we
Okay.
name them Geppetto.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can milk a couple
believe
of them
that's
every
a
now
couple
and
of
then.
Isn't that Curacao, the island of
I
Curacao?
digress.
It's a Dutch colony, I believe.
Yes.
Bring it back. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
That's my fault.
Trent,
Oh,
for
okay.
you, like
Uh-huh.
knowing what you know now, you've been through some things.
Yeah.
You've seen some things.
Uh-huh.
What would you go back and tell yourself if you had like just a few seconds? You're like, young Trent, here's what I'd tell you right now.
Become a firefighter. No, I think I'd probably tell myself to be more compassionate, more loving
Okay.
at that time. Cause I think it took me a while to kind of get to that, especially in my career. Right.
Yeah.
I think it took me several years to be more compassionate towards the public and the people I'm dealing with. Cause not everybody's a bad person.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, they just make a bad decision at that time.
Yeah.
Right. We all make bad choices. So I think I would tell myself to just, be more open, compassionate, loving towards people and listen to them. Get to know who they are.
I love that.
Because I shut that down a lot, right? My wife always tells me that.
Yeah.
You know, why can't you just talk about your feelings? Why can't you
Yeah.
listen, right? And so
Being more compassionate. And I feel
Yeah.
like oftentimes what you put out into the world is what you get back to.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see like when you put that love and compassion out, like life changes and you're like, wow, people, I'm seeing that back in return.
mhm.
And whether that's just your perspective of like trying to look for the good or actually having that returned, it can be a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I love it. So there you go. We have 3 things of wisdom. So if you're an 18-year-old watching this podcast right now, you don't need to go back in time. We're taking care of that for you. So easy.
Become a
Show
firefighter.
Become a firefighter is basically what we need to take away from this. So fires are a real problem.
They're
guys.
a real problem.
People love them.
Yeah. And it's good job security. There will always be fires. That will not stop happening. You got
Absolutely.
lightning, you got arson, you have faulty electrical outlets.
Yeah.
Like seriously, your job is like secured.
People are happy to see
Yeah.
you when you show up.
Yeah.
You drive a big red truck.
Yeah.
It goes woo, woo, woo.
Woo, woo. Yeah. You
They
have a
have-
Dalmatian for
You
a
have a
dog. Do
Dalmatian.
firefighters still have Dalmatians? Do we know, or is that an old thing?
That's an old thing.
I think
Maybe
that was
it's in
like
like
in
a-
cartoons.
Was it?
No, I don't know.
I'm
Maybe it
pretty
could
sure
be
they
like a
still
back
have-
east type of thing too. I feel
Yeah.
like in New
Yeah,
York.
I haven't seen a Dalmatian.
Yeah, like Connecticut. I've never
yeah.
been to like Connecticut Fire Department, but I'm
no.
pretty sure they have Dalmatians.
They probably do.
So if you guys are from Connecticut, drop a line in the comments down below. Let us know if Dalmatians are still a thing.
Or any
So,
firefighter listening.
yeah,
Let us know.
Yeah, we're gonna get a firefighter on next with his Dalmatian,
Oh, that'd be
with any
great.
luck.
That'd be awesome.
So,
I'd
but-
watch.
You guys, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so
No,
much
thank
for
you for
coming
having
out
us.
tonight. This
We
was a lot of
appreciate
fun.
So much fun.
So,
Love it.
Daybreak After Dark.
Love it.
We got weird,
Absolutely.
we got emotional, we got funny. I feel like we covered our bases.
Yeah,
So-
got a little sensitive there.
We
with
did,
that
really
question.
did.
You really hit us with that
You hit
curveball,
us.
Yeah.
and I didn't know how to take that.
You
at
didn't
first,
know
but-
that I was going to transition from
No.
sandals,
No.
all-inclusive, beautiful properties, 5-star resort. For the money, you just can't beat it.
Yeah, you
to,
made me put myself out there. That's kind of
to hairless cats, and then I just whack you upside the head with a little emotion there. So your wives will thank me later. All right, you guys, thank you for joining us tonight. Daybreak After Dark. We're going to have more episodes coming out. We, once again, want to give a little shout out to Live Nation. They're going to be providing some tickets. If you guys would like to be entered to win, go over, jump on our socials, hit a line in the comments. We're going to let you guys know how you can win tickets to Collective Soul and Live.
awesome.
Love it.
Not a live, well, it is a live show. I wonder if that's confusing for them.
Live.
Live.
We're gonna go
Have
see
you guys
live.
seen live?
Live live.
Well, it's
Live?
yeah, okay.
It's like
Who,
who's
live?
on first?
Who's on first? Anyway, we got tickets for you guys. So shout out to Live Nation. Thank you guys so much for all the love and the tickets. And big shout out to Trent and Brayden for coming out tonight. You guys, I feel like we just became best friends.
I think so.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys. Have a great night, and
Thank you.
Thank you.
we'll
Thank
see
you,
you
bro.
online. So
Perfect.